First of all, when we formed government 3.5 years ago now, we were faced with a long list of issues that needed attention, many of which had been ignored and underfunded for over a decade. Some of those issues include, of course, poverty. Poverty was and still is a huge issue throughout BC and in our communities. At the time we formed government, we had some of the worst child poverty in Canada, with 1 in every 5 children living in poverty. And that number jumped to 1 in every 2 children living in a single parent home. Overall, we had the second highest poverty rates in Canada. We were also the only province in Canada not to have a poverty reduction plan that sets targets and measures for reducing poverty. You can see a list of things that contribute to poverty rates, like things like low wages, high cost of living, and an overall lack of social spending. The BCNDP government put into place a comprehensive poverty reduction plan, legislated plan, which sets goals and targets to ensure we are always working towards a reduction of poverty. This plan informs every minister's planning. This plan ensures that services of government are coordinated as effectively and efficiently as possible to deliver the most support to those who are the most vulnerable, thereby lifting thousands, tens of thousands of people out of poverty in the past 3.5 years. We increased the minimum wage to better reflect the rise in the cost of living. We increased investments in post-secondary education and training, including the removal of student loan interest and expanded seats in high demand trades. We implemented the Affordable Childcare Benefit and Space Reduction Fee Benefit. These alone have put over $9 million back into the pockets of families in this constituency. We also raised the wages of early childhood educators by $2 an hour and created funding opportunities for centers to expand and open new centers. This has resulted in over 400 new spaces in our constituency alone. We also launched a $10 a day pilot program. These are life-changing supports for families. We increased rental supplements for families and low-income seniors, helping more people maintain their housing with more money in their pockets. We have made the largest investment in affordable housing in BC's history. This has resulted in over 1,000 new affordable rentals from Nanaimo to Cowichan so far. We were the last province to still charge a tax for people to access basic health care. And under the BC Liberals, the MSP fees had doubled. We committed to eliminating this regressive tax, and we did, saving families up to $1,800 a year and individuals upwards of $900 a year. This equated to the single largest middle income tax break in the province's history. We did implement the employer's health tax, as is in every other province, except that ours is the lowest rate in the country. We have also increased funding to social programs such as food banks, the farmers market coupon program, and more. So now, how do we continue moving forward with reducing poverty? These are some of the steps that we will take. We will continue lowering costs for families with fee reductions, introducing the annual renter's rebate, lowering costs of ICBC by 40%, and just pausing. 3 years ago, ICBC lost $1.18 billion. This year, it broke even. This coming year, a rebate will be given. I am so impressed with what David Eby, our Attorney General, was able to do in turning around what he so famously described as the dumpster fire at ICBC. So we will give people a chance to get ahead, and to do that, recognizing that this period is so extraordinary and that the impacts have been so great on families, many of those impacts not addressed by some of the supports we've seen so far, like the federal CERB or other provincial programs. We're hearing from people who haven't been benefiting and those who still need help, and there are in the many. So we are committing to a one-time $1,000 relief benefit to families, and up to $500 for individuals. This benefit will help reach many people in our community who aren't able to qualify for those benefits I described. We will continue with investments in affordable housing through our Housing Hub programs, and we'll expand the role of this innovative team to partner with nonprofit and co-op housing providers to acquire and preserve existing rental housing. We'll also instruct the Housing Hub to look for new pathways to home ownership through rent-to-own or other equity building programs. So important for families who struggle in an environment of perhaps lower wages, but increasing and inflating housing costs. We will expand our $10 a day childcare program, which saves families on average $1,000 a month. Now, let's pause. Sarah, my dear friend and campaign manager, and I visited one of the pilot programs. It's in our riding in North Cowichan. And we talked to some of these parents. These are young parents who are saving $1,000 a month on top of the $1,800 they saved as a family with their MSP premiums being eliminated. This totals almost $14,000 in a year for a young family. That is life altering. That changes so much for a family, what they can do, what they can afford to invest in, and what they can afford to support for their children. And I couldn't be any more proud of any measure that has been taken. And one of the commitments we've made is that we will enshrine that the same way our healthcare is enshrined in legislation, we will enshrine publicly funded healthcare, or childcare, pardon me. We will provide more funding opportunities for training and education, as well as more programs that offer job growth in communities.